Good morning. Welcome to ATI Pro Media, powered by Advanced Trading. It's Tuesday, February 25th. We're winding down the clock on February. Crop insurance prices getting discovered. We're going to walk through that stuff. Your markets are lower here this morning, overnight. Again, this is just ugly. I hate to talk about it. No fun.
You blew it!
These markets, they're just in the gutter. It sucks to see.
Oh no! We suck again!
Oh, well, we'll move on. But we'll run through your markets. We got plenty of headlines to talk about. Got a fun show to bring it to you. We'll lighten up the mood and bring some good news to you if we can, but plenty of headlines to run through here. So let's quote them up. We'll go to your board. March corn's down 7.5 cents, 475. May corn down 7 3/4, 489. Probably ought to move over to the May contract here as we wrap up March. May beans down 8 cents, 1039.5. Looking over soy oil is 40 points weaker. Soy meal is $1.60 weaker. May Chicago wheat down 13 cents, 580.5. May KC wheat down 10 at 599.5. Looking over your July KC wheat down 9 cents, 613. Feeders, they're the winners over there on your cattle board. It's good to see them rallying higher here. Up 220 on your April feeder cattle, 274.22. Live cattle up 67 points at 195.72. Your lean hog market leaking a little weaker, down 82 points, 90.67 on your lean hogs. Crude oil's down 40 points. Diesel's flat, a little lower. Nat gas is up 4 cents. Looking over your equities, they're on the red too. The Dow is down 20 points. The S&P down 32. The NASDAQ down 203. The Russell down 8. Bitcoin down 6,930, lost the 90,000 handle on Bitcoin. Gold's a little weaker. Silver's a little weaker. The dollar's softer. The 10-year and the 2-year notes are up, firmer. Inflation easing a little bit, I believe, on that headline. So, Connor B., come on in here. Let's break down some headlines and jump into the show here. Maybe I went a little crazy with the sounds, Connor. I don't know. Did I go?
Hey, I don't think you've went crazy yet because they still make me laugh every time. I'm always impressed how fast you are. You've gotten so good at them.
Getting better. It's magic fingers. Yeah.
We got a lot of headlines. You've a lot of moving parts, right? Definitely a weaker. Feels like grains are trying to find a bottom. I don't know. Is it one of those? We've had a lot of bullish bets. We've got a long position in the funds. Bulls need fed every day.
They do.
Like we're kind of running out of steam. And then also, are we looking? We got tariffs back in the headline, but then also I keep going to acreage, right? I know we don't need to focus on that for today, but I keep looking forward. Is where are we going to have those corn acres at? Time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, you got to feed the bulls every day. And what's the next catalyst going to be? What are the grain and livestock market looking for as regards to a catalyst? Is it a production problem somewhere? We need some unexpected demand to come in here. We'll talk through some export inspections though. First headline there: Bitcoin breaks as much as 8% overnight. We quoted you up, lost that 90,000 handle, bouncing off the lows a little bit, but macro markets under pressure, and kind of much of it's tied to that headline of Canada, Mexico, China tariffs. Trump says 25% tariffs for Canada, Mexico going forward, in the works, moving at a rapid pace. Connor B.
Yep. And so here's my question: is we did this song and dance a month ago, right? We pushed it off, right? In 30 days, we're going to reevaluate. Now we're reevaluating. Tariffs are back on. We've got 5 days till March 1st? No, 3 days, right? 3 days till March 1st. Can't remember how many days are in February. So, is it going to be the same song and dance? I don't think we know, Brady. It feels like, there is a lot of moving parts. Tariffs have definitely been used as a negotiation tool. I think, he was talking with the French president and said that they are back on. So I don't know. Time will tell, but markets are definitely taking it negatively.
Yep. Posturing headlines back in there. So tariffs are a tactic. We'll see what all shakes out and how the moving pieces all align going forward. But market's also looking at macro market earnings. It's pretty big earnings season. Some of the tech stocks have disappointed a little bit. We're going to be watching Nvidia earnings. That's kind of the darling AI chip tech stock out there. That's going to be on Wednesday. Nvidia earnings. Also got a PCE. That's personal consumer consumption expenditure price index. That's one of the Fed's preferred gauges of inflation. That data is going to come out Friday. I'm looking for a January reading. Anticipating that it'll be a little softer and ease, but you never know what's going to get printed on Friday. So macro market stuff as well.
That'll be a bit. I mean, NVIDIA matters, but then also inflation. We got a lot of moving parts with the government right now. A lot of things that could potentially bring some inflation. That'll be one. We'll make sure we pay attention to that one. But
yeah, I got to bring in my friend's tweet here this morning. We normally wait till Thursday, Friday for tweet of the week, but this is relevant today. This can be tweet of the day. I don't care. Kevin Coburn, tariffs, political landscape. The correct answer is there are not enough known variables to run a feasible analysis to quantify high probability outcomes. So trust your process and manage risk. I love this comment here.
It's great.
It hit me in the heartstrings right out of the gate in the morning.
It's a smart person way to say we don't know where tariffs are going to go, how they're going to affect it, right? Because when we talk 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, right? When we talk Mexico in our world, we're looking at corn exports, we're looking at livestock. Those have not been mentioned in the list of things that we're going to see tariffs on, right? And so can we get a negative reaction and then 6-7 months, we go into harvest and things are completely different, right? Demand turns out corn exports to Mexico never went away. Absolutely, that's on the table. So well said. Good tweet.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. Good points there too, Connor B. Between now and planting season, when you harvest those bushels and when you move those bushels, the market can change in their dynamic. We've seen it over the past few years. It's not about dimes; it's about dollars in these markets. Pay attention.
And we can't get our short-term. I'm saying this to myself as much as to anyone watching, is that we can't get our short-term, focus on. Where right now, our next headline is going to be we need to look at South America soybean planting and that safrinha corn crop harvest. But the story could change very quickly. We can see how fast acreage. I said I wasn't going to talk about acreage. I did it again. How fast that could change it. But anyway, make sure you keep your long-term focus on, right? But that being said, right, speaking of bulls needing to be fed, right, we talked about that soybean harvest was a little bit behind pace. Safrinha corn crop, you and I, we said we're not getting bullish because of a planting delay.
It was tempting there a couple weeks ago. It was tempting. But and the market's got a little excited here. So let's run through what are the recent numbers here on soybean harvest in South America.
So soybean harvest, they're at 36% harvested. Last year they were 38%. They made, last year they made great pace. Mato Grosso, 2/3 harvested there. So making some great pace. Flipping then it over to that safrinha corn crop, that second corn crop planting progress. They're 53% planted. Last week they were 35. Talk about a jump, right? Man, we can make some progress. And then last year they were 59%. But I believe, Brady, that 53% is right there at that 5-year average. And again, Mato Grosso, the big player, is 2/3 planted on that safrinha corn crop. So it looks like they're going to be right on pace with that planting, right? Things can change quickly, but I think the weather looks pretty favorable that the planting delay story is probably going to be muted.
Yeah, it feels like it's behind us, it's a good thing to get that crop in the ground. Huge piece of the puzzle because that the dry season, wet season, it's just a cliff. It's you got moisture, then all of a sudden you don't. So getting that crop in the ground, hugely important. Mato Grosso, a big piece of the safrinha puzzle. And here's just a snapshot of their, planting curve. And look at that, closing the gap there on that 5-year average. We've made up a significant amount of ground late January, well behind the 8-ball on getting that crop in and planted. But a testament to getting the job done there. And we showed some videos of the combines rolling and the planters right behind them. 3 rigs out there, massive amount of equipment, and a massive amount of it too.
Unbelievable operation. So we're going to get Cesar Cruz
to
give us a little updates on South America today, I believe, as long as it works with his schedule. So
good deal. It's always good to hear from him. He's got, boots on the ground insight and friends in that region, and just a great insight into a deeper dive into what's going on down there in South America.
Yep. Absolutely. So other thing, right? Last week it was frigid cold. Brady, I think your son was right wearing flip-flops to school because holy crap, look at this heat wave.
It was hot yesterday. I went outside and Oh golly, I took a walk in the afternoon, and I like to go out and walk through the cows after the markets close and just kind of check on things. And it is a beautiful day to go walk around. But we were -10 or so on Thursday, and 76 yesterday
Um,
afternoon.
my gosh,
80-degree
unbelievable,
swing. I'm not a mathematician, but that's pretty close to 90-degree swing there. That's something. Ah,
unbelievable.
I'll take it though. I don't know if it's good for anything. Those types of swings cannot be good for things. But yeah, you might break dormancy on the think trees are going to be budding out or something.
Oh man! All right, what else we got? We got a lot of headlines today.
Yep, crop insurance price discovery wrapping up on that. Corn 472. Got a few days left here. Decent corn's at 465, and the February price deal update latest today, as of yesterday, is 472. So 465 and a half. Gonna pull that down a tick here today. We'll see how the rest of the week finishes here. Beans 1058. No beans out there at 1044. So looking like that'll probably drift a little bit lower here as well today. But we'll see how the rest of the week finishes as we wind down the price discovery period. Take a quick, my calculator, pull my handy dandy calculator out here, Connor
Whip
B.
it out.
472, 75% of that is 354. So if you got 75% coverage and you raise APH yield, you're going to be, 354 is your coverage level. Always got to keep that in mind. Where does that floor kick in for you based on your specific coverage levels out there? A lot of other buy up type programs. We've talked about those,
Yep.
but 1058 beans, I'm going to do the same thing. If you have 75% coverage, that's down there in $8 land. Yikes. Wow. But hopefully, you guys buy up higher. I mean, you guys in the I states, Illinois, I mean, you guys are buying 85% coverage levels, right?
You don't see. I mean, it's all across the board. Truly, I
Mhm.
mean, when I was at ADM, it was amazing how many guys that farmed without crop insurance. Right? If you farmed
Wow.
good dirt, you just went with it. But I would say, I think across the board, 80% is kind of the best bang for your buck
Okay.
times the subsidy level. So that we see a lot of 80 and then 85, and then I got to think with that ECO coverage. I got to think every crop insurance agent worth their salt is mentioning that how it's
Pushing that.
it's something like 50% more subsidized, so significantly cheaper. So you
Okay.
could go with a 75, 80% and then buy up with that ECO to get it up to, I believe, 95% coverage. And so, if that works for your operation, I say do it, right? I don't sell crop insurance. But then also, I think it's a good time. And what I'm going to do is just make sure we're walking through the different scenarios, right? Is that crop insurance? I'm going off on a tangent here. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Keep going.
It's the best.
Love it.
It's probably the best tool we have. It's subsidized by the government. It's revenue based. We got to make sure, right, when crop insurance kind of, where it's lacking, right? If we got the 95% coverage just based on revenue, if we've got really good yields out there, and we see a price drop, right? Crop insurance isn't going to kick in for us, and so I think that's where a guy like you and I comes in and just make sure we're protecting and defending price as well, right? Make sure we're doing stuff that complements crop insurance, and then also executing in between February and October as well.
I like what you said there. Yep, good points. Yep, markets move between now and the harvest price, and what are you doing to manage that value there? And then how does your production play into the payout and your coverage level? It adjusts that total, that trigger, right? So good stuff.
Yep.
All right. Next thing, what's caught my eye? It's a section in the ATI morning newsletter, Morning Wire. If you're a premium subscriber, you get that. But U.S. and Brazil Feb soybean exports anticipated to be near a 4-year low here in February. China demand sluggish noted in that headline there. So if you got that, if you're a premium subscriber, you're an ATI customer, check your email for a little bit bigger breakdown on that what's caught my eye section there.
Yeah. And, soybeans, corn, when we look at exports to China, right, it's easy to think, well, the United States isn't exporting any corn to China, right? The numbers, it's not zero, but it's not very high. And we think that business in Brazil, not necessarily, right? China has very much paused on buying from anything, right? Soybeans, corn, it's very much lower. And so it's with China, you never know. I think it was Dr. Cruz had a nice chart just looking at Chinese corn imports. Pop that up. Remind me for tomorrow's show. I'll pull it in there. It's just looking at how it's not random, but then where their corn exports can jump up, right? We saw them rally, I think in like 2010, 2012, and then they were kind of absent, and then they came in big in like 2020, 2021, 2022. And then in 23, right, they shifted the business over to Brazil. Brazil became the number one corn exporter there for a year. We got the title back in 24, but it's just amazing that it just looks sporadic when you look at it the past 20 years. So
yeah, we need to pull that graphic in. That's a great graphic that shows that China import, where they're importing from in their history, and just the lack of buying interest here. It's a good graphic. We'll note that and pull that in tomorrow for sure. Good stuff, Connor. Yep. Export inspection is going to throw these up here for us. USDA export inspections for the week. This week, 44.7 exported there. So a little pullback, I think, on corn light, down 30% versus last week, down 12% versus last year. Looking over at beans light as well, down 19% last year versus last year, but up 18% versus the week prior. So a little bounce back on the bean front. Export inspections light. Going to pull up a couple graphics here, looking at shipments. Where shipments going out the door, we're entering that peak season for corn. You just keep seeing those bushels go out the door. Kind of prime season here for us between now and June. Looking over at bean exports, we're tailing off on that front. Pardon me.
Yeah. Soybeans, it continues to follow that trend, right? But we've definitely been below it. And so, when I look at this corn, a chart like this, is that we've had fantastic corn shipments, right? Going back to September, October, and definitely into the new year. Is that I start getting scared, is that do we see that buying tail off? Did we see any type of front loading, something like that? Anything where, maybe exports go back, corn exports go back to the mean type of thing, where we see that business really drift away. Things like that kind of make me a little worried when I see the chart like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of how that's going to play out is going to be the status of safrinha corn crop, right? How much grain can Argentina ship out? I think they carry a good, they count for about 25% of world global corn export supply between March and June. With that safrinha corn, what's the sentiment regarding that production? It's looking like we're closed the gap on the planting pace, but how's the production going to go? And they're going to get necessary rainfall between now and May timeframe to set that crop up for success. So a lot of pieces to the puzzle there. It goes back to that tweet we shared earlier of between the trade, the dynamic, trade, geopolitics, and then production, just impossible to predict how everything's going to play out. And these numbers are going to change significantly on the balance sheet between now and next fall. Connor.
Yep. Absolutely. Right. We're always moving to the next headline. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. So, yeah.
Well, I had a little attack from a cough bug there, and
I was going to say, I was getting worried. I was about to jump over and make sure you're okay.
Need the Heimlich maneuver or something, but I'm still battling through I got sick a week or so ago and still battling through the tail end of that stuff, lingering, but hopefully it goes away. I got some presentations here in Kansas, doing some meetings this week, and they start today, Connor. Oakley, Kansas, doing a meeting for Schooler Grain tonight. Goodland, Kansas, Schooler Grain again tomorrow night, and then Tribune and Syracuse to wrap up the week. So big week of meetings. Excited to be invited from Schooler Grain to go out there and get in front of some producers out here in Western Kansas.
Awesome. Well, good stuff. Yeah, get the coughing out on this, and you'll be ready to rock and roll tonight.
I hope so. All right, cattle had a good day. We hadn't talked about cattle real quick. I can finish up with cattle. We can wrap it up. But strong day for feeder cattle yesterday. Cash index remains really strong versus futures. Cash was up, I think, 80 points yesterday, 279.37 on the index. And March futures are 274. So we've closed that gap. That was close to $11 at one point, Connor. But we're down in that $5 area premium cash versus that March futures contracts. But feeders had a great day yesterday. Cash is holding things up on the feeder cattle front. The cutout, though, it has rebounded, but we are still at 15 consecutive days of week-to-week declines in the cutout, which is just, we don't want to see that. 315.77, that's the magic number today. We can end the streak if the choice box beef cutout bounces back above 315.77. Yesterday's print was 313.73. It was up nearly $3 yesterday. If we get another $3 jump in this thing, we will end that streak, and hopefully we do, because we want the cutout to remain firm to help those packer margins and keep that money, keep this market with a little support underneath it here.
Right. Good stuff.
All right. Anything else, Connor B?
No, I think we covered everything under the sun. It's always funny when we build this live show is that sometimes, the headlines are light. Maybe we got 1 or 2 talking points, and sometimes they just pile in. It was one of those days we had a lot to talk about.
We do. Yeah. And there's always stuff to talk about, but markets are moving, and I don't know, not the best day on your markets here. Corn's off the lows, 491 on May corn. So bouncing back off the lows. That's good to see. Low is 488.5 on May corn so far. Dees corn has slid as well below some of those key moving average, broke some of those yesterday. Not good to see. A lot of macro market stuff going on that's weighing on things. And we talk about, what catalyst will feed the market, the bulls or the bears going forward. They need a catalyst, need a story to run with. And where's your risk? So as a producer, manage your risk accordingly. And don't decision making is the name of the game. I go back to that, Connor B. Got to make decisions and use tools that help you make decisions confidently.
Yep. You said it best, is where we can't predict the tariff talk, safrinha corn crop, right? What we can predict and what we can control is your personal balance sheet, right? And that's where the conversation should start, right? Managing your risk on your operation, and then we can go from there.
Yep. All right. Well, let's get out of here. And we'll be back here tomorrow live at 9. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you guys joining us every day. Appreciate our premium subscribers. Y'all have a great day. And stay classy, America. Stay classy.
Have a good one.